Can we do both?
No.
Any questions from the audience?
Any questions from the audience for the panel? There's one over there.
What were the ravages that this affected you with? Is that the time your hair went gray, for example, or others? It's very important to know this.
Can you just repeat the question again, please?
How much did that
my hair's
interfere
gray,
with
that's all I
life
heard, but what?
to do all of that?
Yeah, what did it take?
What did it take?
Yeah.
Juvenile rage, that abuse of power. I mean, that's my most honest answer. I've had it since I've been a teenager. I haven't grown out of it. But I think we learned along with, I mean, Dr. Rashid and I were speaking to each other. I'm not kidding. We've calculated we're spending 10 hours a week extra beyond our normal work for the first 6 to 8 months on this. And I think what kept all of us going was having a national group of doctors, Tim Holland, Annalie Coakley, Chris Greenaway, Cecile Russo, everybody was into it. And you don't feel alone. So I don't view it, I think encourage our doctors to go into Ebola epidemics, not to protest Canadian government, to be quite frank. And that to me is really too strong a word. But it really was a solidarity amongst colleagues and with students that let all of us carry through in our various cities.
Okay, that was quick. Oh, were you going to answer? I'm sorry. Okay, we have time for one more because you were so quick. Is there another one lurking out there?
Well, if not, okay, one more question. All right.
Did you have to face any adverse press? And if you did, question about adverse press coverage and how'd you handle it?
It was pretty unusual. I mean, the worst that happened was I did this, agonizingly long radio interview with some radio station in Calgary where the guy went ballistic. I mean, you want to let every immigrant from across the whole world come into Canada? He was yelling and screaming and interrupting. Do you know who that was? Yeah, it was a talk radio. The MEB didn't want to do it. I was exhausted afterwards, but I think that was about the worst experience. Otherwise, it was pretty uniform. I think the Toronto Sun was not that supportive, but they kind of, no, they were. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. We were very lucky. I mean, I think that the novelty of doctors interrupting cabinet ministers got their attention. It made no sense to see doctors with white coats and stethoscopes out in the public interrupting cabinet ministers. But it worked. It was just a modus operandi to bring attention to the issue. We were well behaved otherwise. We were impeccable in focusing singularly on refugee health cuts, not on undocumented immigrants, not on other immigration policies. We checked out every single fact before we released it publicly. We did our homework, which is a very important lesson. We never exaggerated, used hyperbole, or lied, and never got caught out. And we were meticulous about that. There was an instance where the lawyers claimed that a patient had died because of the cuts, and we actually checked. You weren't involved, don't worry. We checked out and found that wasn't the case because they wanted us to issue a statement, which we would not do until we could confirm it. We couldn't confirm it. We never did it. So mostly it was, I'd say, almost uniformly positive.
I just want to say that it's a testament to what I said earlier, which is you guys have a lot of capital, and I really urge you to use it judiciously, appropriately, and so on. But really, you have that. You have more power, I think, than you realize.
Okay, can I just say one thing? There is an article I would recommend the Academy members read, published in June 2012 in JAMA by Dr. Donald Barrick. I'm sure most of you heard of him. It was a reproduction of his convocation address to the graduating class of Harvard Medical School, and the title is Isaiah. And it was about an inner city kid who died of leukemia who he treated. And he made 2 points. One is you not only have to cure the killer leukemia, you have to cure the killer injustice, and the doctors are trusted by the public. They have credibility and credentials, and they should speak loudly, is the word he used, when you confront injustice and policies that are hurting our patients. So you can easily Google it. It's really worth reading.
So I just want to, it's deeply inspiring, and it's a great note to end on after, seeing the magnitude of what we're talking about. I do want to register, though, a concern that it's easier when it's a very narrow, something that was already there and taken away, very specific point. We're talking about broader issues of policy and our overall reception to newcomers and refugees, and I feel it is important that we make that argument, but I see a risk of sort of spreading ourselves thin or squandering our moral capital at some point, and then people say, well, we know they're all left-leaning, whatever kind of, because they want, too much equality and humanity or something like that. So
The deservingness. Yeah, that was an amazing framing. So I am.